Vladmir Golstein is the Associate Professor of Slavic Studies at Brown University. He joins us now live from Providence, Rhode Island. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Vladmir, how does this affect bilateral relations, and could this all change in 3 weeks once Donald Trump takes office?
Yeah, I think it's, for starters, I want to stress that this unbelievably undiplomatic way of doing things. Russia just experienced a lot of setbacks, including the murder of the ambassador in Ankara in Turkey, and collapse of their plane, which carried 92 people. So just to come up with this expulsion is like very bad timing. Furthermore, it's done on the eve of New Year, which is like, biggest, very big holiday in Russia. It's like doing something, to Americans on the eve of Thanksgiving, when people have plans, and so on. So it's undiplomatic. It sends a very wrong message. Russian people would be just absolutely shocked. And I think the response of foreign ministry that this is undignified, and it's definitely correct one. But we should say, I also would want to stress that this is just, it goes more beyond this undignified and narrow-minded and petty. Because on the surface of it, it looks like, this is just simply Democrats are proved to be sore losers and they just cannot accept it. But I think they also want to somehow poison the relationship between new administration, between President-elect Trump and Russia. They want to put somehow pressure on Trump. They want to stress that Russia is a dangerous player, even though there is not much proof there, not much has been published. But they have to sort of, to somehow kind of put the ball in Trump's corner. So I think beyond this kind of awkwardness and indecency and pettiness and bad timing, there is some kind of political strategy.
Well, I want to ask you about that political timing, Vladimir. You mentioned timing, political strategy. The Obama administration really in its last 3 weeks in office. Why is he bothering at this point? And what position do you think this puts Trump in?
I think they really, it's surprising, but they're trying to be obstructionist. I remember from the very beginning of Obama's administration, they complained that Republicans were obstructionists. Republicans wanted to sort of nail down any initiative which he had without even considering it. And my feeling is that either Obama tries to play back or something, but, Trump said, let's turn to a new page. Let's discuss things differently. Let's, enough of meddling into other countries', affairs. Let's sort of, start negotiating more peaceful agreements. But somehow kind of they don't like it. So the Democrats want to sort of, poison the waters. They want to poison the atmosphere. And I think they're putting the pressure. My feeling is nobody will take this bait. That Russians are sort of, we saw the way they unfold things with Turkey in Syria. Even though the ambassador was killed, they proceeded with peace negotiations, and they seem to succeed for time being in Syria. So I think they have to respond in kind. They probably will send away some ambassadors, but mostly they will wait and see how things will unfold with Trump. But it does put a pressure on Trump, because I think it sends a message to American people that Russians are dangerous, because American people will probably read just the titles from newspaper, while they're not. Because what Russians, even if they did it, they didn't do any damage to our national security. They didn't do any damage to our finances, to private people, to anyone. They did, even if they did it, I want to stress a big if, it was like some kind of, eavesdropping on Democratic Party documents, which were all true. So
Professor,
just to present Russia as a absolutely bad person and put pressure on Trump I think is ill-timed and ill-conceived, and probably it will backfire.
Professor, you mentioned Syria and what's happening there. What does this do, this expulsion, these sanctions, what does this do to the issues that the U.S. and Russia are working together on regarding Syria, the Iran nuclear deal that they agreed upon, some other international issues? What does that do here?
I think both Russian administration and Trump administration want to have a big picture, and they probably want continue to negotiate things. And Putin already stressed that in terms of Syria, they'll be more than happy to bring new administration at the table and to participate. But in terms of the current administration, Russians probably say it's enough. And I think they just don't want to deal with it anymore. But I don't think it will poison it in the long run. They will wait to see what will happen, and they will negotiate after January 20th. So they wouldn't do anything harsh, anything sort of, to unsettle the balance and unsettle seemingly good, attitude which both Russian government and Trump sort of administration have toward each other.
All right, Vladmir Golstein, thank you so much for your insight and perspective.